Hi, dear friends. This is Ouassima and welcome to the talk of today, Shamanism and Tarot. I'm feeling like I have so much to talk about today. Um, I don't know how this will go. I don't know if I can say everything in just this video. I don't know if I might. Maybe I will make a second video about this topic. Anyway, today we will be talking about Shamanism and Tarot. I will introduce you to shamanism if this is your first time. If it's not and you are already a shamanic practitioner, I will share my own point of view of my own way of experiencing shamanism. I will also talk about tarot from my own perspective. And the funny thing that what we can do, hi Evelyn, and the funny thing that we will be doing today is bringing a talk between shamanism and tarot. So let's see how that goes. The other thing, I have so many decks. I have brought a lot of decks that I might show you also. So please keep up with me for now. Let me see also who is there. Evelyn, if you have any questions, you can post them. I like doing lives. Hi, Angeline. I like seeing your comments, your questions, and all these things. So that will work too for me. All right. So the other thing here, I can view your questions. All right. Everything is set. So talking about shamanism is like talking about the world, the universe, talking about a big subject, because it is a big subject, and everyone, especially in this field, shamanic practitioner or shamanic teacher or shaman, has his own point of view about this topic. So let me start with shamanism. Shamanism, we know that it is a word that it has been used in Siberian tradition. So it's not really a word that comes from Western cultures or African cultures. It is really coming from Siberia. And it is really ancient practice, or I will say a practice for now. It's an ancient practice. We know that it has been practiced like 100,000 years ago. And we, through this practice, we connect to spirits, we bring healing to ourselves and to people and to the community. And also we do some divination, to have some information maybe about weather, about where to find animals, where to hunt, and other practices too. This term has been used by some anthropologists because they found it there and they needed to group or to gather some practices they were saying under the same word. And that word was shamanism. It could be another word, but it is for now shamanism. And it is grouping all different practices from America, from the Americas, from Africa, from China, and from other parts of the world, to talk about this practice of healing, connecting with spirits, trance, divination, all this. The other thing that I want to bring here is the difference, because this word is really general, but under it, as an umbrella, there are many, many practices that are different, even if there is the same core. The practices stay different from continent to another and from tribe to another. So, for example, I used to live in Canada, and in Canada, we, among many, many tribes, we have different practices from the north to the south, from the east to the west. Let's say the difference between Canada and maybe Colombia. The practices are different because they are coming from different areas, different interaction with nature, different deities. And of course, I really insist on this, there is something that can be similar and that we can find in all these cultures. All right. So if you have a question, please, just let me know about that. All right. So among the researchers or the anthropologists that worked a lot about this concept of shamanism and brought it to the the Western civilization. Of course, I have to talk about Michael Harner, because he is one of the amazing workers on this field, and researchers, and he wrote some books about that. And he brought many traditions to the Western world, and he teaches them in the university, and he built up with other practitioners the FSS, so the Foundation of Shamanic Studies. And it is foundation where I studied, and I continue to study with them, among other practitioners, because I have many broad, and I am really open-minded about the practices and the cultures around shamanism. So I have been also interested in Egyptian shamanism, also interested in North American shamanism, because I was living there too, and many other practices. All right, so it was important to talk about the different types of shamanism that exist. There is Norse shamanism that we hear about too. There is the Siberian, Mongolian, etc. So many forms of shamanism. So this is a broad definition about it. And what is important to talk about today is the role of a shaman. So what does it mean to be a shaman, or what does it mean to be a practitioner of shamanism? I grouped these the roles in some categories. So the first category is to work for the tribe or the community. What does it mean? It means that we need to protect the community from harm, maybe from weather. We need to help in regular events, in special events, for example, birth of a kid, maybe in wartime, maybe to change the place, or to move to the tribe to another place, or the community to another place. Sometimes shamans also, and this we found it in many cultures, some shamans are specialists in harming the enemies, so attacking the enemies from the spirit realm, and others we talk about making an impact or changing the weather in some time too. Now the shamans have also a role with individuals, with persons, and that includes healing the sick, making the way to souls who just went, so, or the dead, passing them through the veil. It can be giving answers through divination and journeying, or dream work. Sometimes we talked about that in another interview with Carmen, the creator of Folakos Tarot. Also, it can be finding missing objects, or finding missing people for kids, or so these are the roles for individuals. The other roles can be teaching, making or keeping the harmony in the environment, not just the tribe, but the harmony with the other elements, trees, spirits of the place, the ancestors, so keeping everything in harmony. And also, we have been these last years talking about therapeutic shamanism, which is a different form from the core shamanism, because therapeutic shamanism, just like in making a small note here, therapeutic shamanism is working with the client or working with the patient. If you have, let's say, someone coming to you and saying, I'm sick and all these things, you will work with him to identify what was the core or what was the source of this problem. So in therapeutic shamanism, the person or the patient takes a step with you, works with you. You are not the only one working with him and working for him. He needs to make some efforts to understand things. We can also maybe teach him how to journey. We can also making or working with his imagination to dissolve some intrusions in his energy field, etc. So therapeutic shamanism is like a variation. Just I wanted to talk about it. All right, let me see if you are following me in this talk today. Elder Shen, hi, nice to meet you. Evelyn, she's asking me what type of shamanism I do practice. I practice my, and this is why I wanted to say about the shamanism. I practice my own way of shamanism, because shamanism as a practice, for me, it means healing, teaching, living with nature, living with the different elements of the world. It means being in harmony with myself and with others, bringing this harmony or helping others to touch this harmony and connect with it. It means also, because for me, shamanism is a way of living. It's not just a practice. It's a practice is really little small word. For me, shamanism is the way to see the world. We used to talk about tarot decks. We used to talk about books. I consider everything as a spirit, as a living being. And considering them as a spirit brings a respect. I respect things, and I think twice before putting them, or throwing them in the garbage, or cutting them, or I think twice, because I know that they are a living being. And this, we cannot talk about practice. We talk about a way to see life, the way to live in a way. Another thing that I would say regarding my practice, I am a multi-practitioner. That means that I am not related to a tribe. I am not related to a specific tradition. I like really learning according to what my spirit allies show me. Because my spirit allies, I have Egyptian deities, I have spirit animals, I have beings, star beings from far away, star doctors that I work with. So I have this chance to have different deities or different spirit allies I work with. And they show me, they work as a council, and they show me the best, for example, the best course, the best book I should read, the best practice I need to add to my life. So this is, for me, the way to connect to spirit and the way to work and to give sessions. And sometimes it changed too, because I meet so many different spirit allies when I meet with clients. They bring their spirit allies too. And we connect and we communicate together and we collaborate together. And when we do that, it's so much not important what practice I come from or what the origin of the person. We don't care really. What is really important is the well-being of the person. How can we work together for the well-being of the person? Some will come with their ancestors. Some will come with their ancestors, but their ancestors are not really too nice, but we collaborate with them because they are the protectors of this person, So, okay, this is another talk. Let's go back to the subject. So, El Dushan is talking about watching Natalia's shadow work series and have been wondering if the shamanic soul retrieval work is similar. Do you know? That would be a really good question. Maybe I could answer because I have some VRs to do, but I will keep this question for the next video probably. All right. So we talked about shamanism. We talked about a little definition. Of course, today I'm giving you just a little, things to know about, because our subject is not just shamanism for today, but it's shamanism and tarot. And I wanted to give you, just before we start that conversation of tarot and shamanism, some basics that you need to know if you practice shamanism or you want to practice shamanism or you are interested in the subject. There are some core principles that we found in the different cultures, and one of them is the journey to different worlds. So we have different worlds, realities. Let's say talk about realities because of my pronunciation. So we have the ordinary reality we live in, this physical space limited by time, by the flesh, the blood. And we have the other realities. Sometimes we talk about the non-ordinary reality. We go to the upper world and we go to the world below. And these, you will find maybe some similar things in different cultures, but in some cultures they will go more to the upper world, and others will go to the world below, and they will encounter different spirit beings in these different realities. And there is the in-between, and in the in-between, sometimes people, when they are dead or when they leave their physical body and go to the other side, they get stuck because of many things. And one of the role of a shamanic practitioner is to help the souls to get to the other realm, or to the other realities, the upper world or the world below, and further. The other thing that you might find also that is similar in different cultures is the ritual, the importance of ritual and ceremony. And it can be practiced in different way. For example, the Celtic will practice it in different way. Celtic shamanism is pretty new word. It's not really, I mean, shamanism as a word we talked about does not come from England or the North countries. It comes really from Siberia. So shamanism, Celtic shamanism, is just a definition of the ancestral mythological healing practices of the Celts. So just to make sure, but we find that the ritual, we can find that there were rituals through the history in different parts of the world and ceremony. And till now, it's really important in shamanic practice. And also the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel, I might talk about in another video because it's really important to talk about it. But the medicine wheel, we also find it in different cultures, and it might be defined differently. The directions can be different from tradition to another. All right, so let's move on to the talk between shamanism and tarot. I talked about shamanism. And now I will try to convince you that shamanism is better than tarot. It doesn't mean that I will take the part of shamanism or that I will take the part of tarot. What I will be doing here is really bringing a talk. It's like a philosophical talk, maybe it's like just rambling, but let's play this game of I am better. Like shamanism will say I am better, and tarot will say I am better. And why? Okay, so let's start with shamanism. And I have written some things regarding that. So let's consider that shamanism and tarot are enemies. And that shamanism will give you the reasons to not believe in tarot anymore. Why? So shamanism will say, I have the chance to make you live a direct experience. When you practice shamanism, you live a direct experience. What does it mean? It means that when you do a journey, you connect to your spirit allies straight away, in a direct way. You feel, you hear, you sense, you see, and all your senses are working in a shamanic journey. And that's why, for example, when you do a shamanic journey, you remember it, you integrate the teachings you get. Something happens in your own physical body, so you can integrate the teaching you bring from a journey. Another point is that in shamanic journeys, when you go and travel and journey to your spirit allies, all the possibilities are open. That means that you are not confined or closed to just 78 cards. You have the ability to live many, many experiences that maybe you are not waiting for. You are open to the unknown, and anything can happen. And your spirit allies will give you answers that go out totally of your mind, that you were not waiting for at all. So this is quite different, from tarot. Also, the direct revelation, that means we talked about direct experience. Direct revelation, or straight revelation, or I don't know how to say it in English, but revelation means being or talking with your spirit allies directly, face to face. You do not need anyone between you and your spirit allies. You experience talking with them with yourself. You don't need your cards, you don't need anyone, you do not need anything else than you and your spirit ally. So there is this direct communication between both of you. Hi. Hi, Wei. We are talking about shamanism and tarot, and I'm trying to convince in this first part, convince you that shamanism is better than tarot. Please keep up with me. I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just bringing a talk between tarot and shamanism, okay? So another thing is that shamanism is a way to live. We talked about it with Evelyn. It's not, it's not practice, not a discipline, like you do it just in the morning. It's really a way of living. When you woke up the morning, you give thanks to your spirit allies, you connect with them. They are really present everywhere, present in your jewelries. When you put things, you think about your spirit allies. Everything, every act is linked to your spirit allies and to your guidance, the guidance they are giving you, to your soul call, to your, spirituality is alive through shamanism. So it's not close to I need to use shamanism to get the guidance. I need to use shamanism to know what I need to do with this person or with this work. It is really an embodiment of principles in your own living life, in physical body, in your own work. The other thing also, I will be finishing soon this part. I know it's difficult. In shamanism also, we do not really need tarot. We can use any other divination tool. We can journey, we can use rocks, we can use anything to do divination if it is really related to our spirit allies. So we do not really need tarot, to make a divination. Anyway, why tarot do exist? So yeah, and even if we use tarot, it can be a tool, not more, because divination can be done with many other ways. And finally, I know this part is a bit difficult. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jennifer. The last thing, in shamanism, there is that sense of community. And when I say community in shamanism, that means that everyone has its own place and its own role. It's not, oh, that shaman is really important than this person. Oh, that person that is carrying the wood or carrying the fire is more important than that one who is sitting and just singing. So everyone in the circle, shamanic circle or the community, has its own role. Because from shamanic perspective, we know that if we gathered in this place at the moment, now, for example, everyone is bringing its energy, is bringing his own wisdom, he's bringing his own soul vibration, he's bringing his own magical beings that work with him, spirit allies. So everyone has his own space, his own place, and we recognize that. And in that sense, when we are in shamanic circle, we collaborate better. We do not have that competitiveness that can come because we know that everyone has his own role. While tarot is more solitary practice, and it's solitary practice. Even when you do reading, sometimes the consultant won't participate. You just need to talk and talk and talk and let him know what you are saying in the cards. And, so it's not really collaborative, right? The degree of collaboration sometimes is just zero, depending on clients. So are you all right with this part of talk shamanism against tarot? And you need to maybe consider shamanism that he is better than shaman and then tarot. What do you think about that? I hope you'll be patient with me till the end of this video. I do not want to have enemies today. All right, let's see questions. If you have questions, Evelyn's asking, what is the difference between shamanism, medium, and witch? That is another nice video, but let me focus today on shamanism and tarot. If you have questions regarding that, Jennifer is unsubscribing today. And you are giving me really good food for thoughts and for next videos. All right, so now that I have talked on shamanism and why it is a better practice and better way of living, let's talk about tarot and give tarot the space to talk, and maybe as a spirit being say that no, he has his own place and why. So if I talk about tarot, let me see. All right. I don't want to define tarot because I think that all of us who are here know that, that tarot has his own reasons to exist. But if we give him the permission to talk, I try to connect with tarot as a spirit being. And this is what came. So if you want to vote for tarot and deny the shamanism, tarot has a lot of images, has a lot of colors and words, and they are the way to get to the soul, the mind, and the emotions. And also, it speaks to the senses, to the different senses, the physical senses too, and show us the experiences, the terrestrial experiences, the practical experiences of our daily life. While when you do shamanic journeys, maybe you will go and, in a journey and you will see maybe some guidance that is more poetic, maybe some images that you won't understand. While tarot is like, especially some tarot decks, they are so practical. Talking about tarot decks, there is the the urban tarot, which is really talks about our real life, what is happening in our real life, and speaks to like Ouassima of today and not Ouassima of like 1,000 years ago. So tarot is modern more than shamanism. The other thing is that when we read with tarot, we are also open to the window, to the unknown. They are windows to the unknown. We know that there are 78 cards, but if you read them reversed, if you read just the suits, if you read just the colors, if you read the interactions between the cards, if you add the direction of the faces, the timing, and more, we recognize that there are so many millions of possibilities of interpretations. So it's not really limited, right? And I am just looking at some comments here. Jennifer saying, just kidding, I love tarot and I am not offended by anyone's opinion on it. Everything has its own place. Tarot has become more than a tool for me over time. And she has adopted the philosophy of life based on the way it's organized, more than a lens than a tool. Okay, that is wonderful. Okay, let me continue on this talk with Tarot. And Tarot is defending himself against shamanism. The direct revelation, and we talked about that in shamanism. We said that shamanism, you talk directly with your spirit allies, and you see things, and you do not need people or things between you and your spirit allies. But in reality, in tarot, also, we maybe do not need intermediaries between us and our spirit allies. Indeed, our spirit allies might take tarot as a way to communicate with us. We give them, in a way, a language to talk with. We give them a vocabulary to talk with us. And it's not like, metaphorical or poetic, but we give them really words to describe what they want to tell us. So in a way, tarot gives the, I would say, the space for our spirit allies to talk with us in a practical way. And regarding shamanism, we might consider shamanism as ecological because we are thinking about nature, we are thinking about no waste, everything has its own place. But tarot, we can look at it as not ecological, but maybe we are using, yes, paper, but it is not just a tool. It's it has 78 keys of wisdom and more, as Rachel Pollack says about it. And she wrote many books about tarot. It has so many wisdom. It has so many things to explore and understand. And as Jennifer said, it gives a way of living. We know from the majors that there is a journey in majors. We talk about the suits. There are, in every suit, there are things that we need to learn, we need to adapt to. We need to acknowledge, for example, the court cards as a position. We studied them a few months ago. 2 months ago, we studied the court cards, and some of us connected with them as spirit allies too, and some connected with them as a way of being, a position or an attitude to have in our daily life or in our work, for example. So tarot can help humans to live in harmony also with others, with other people, but also with the cosmic laws, because they are included in the tarot. And anyway, we are using tarot as a vehicle too for many teachings, magic, element magic, Kabbalah, and many other teachings. Hi, everyone. Hi, Mag. Hi, Lady Night. She's here. Jennifer, do not be quiet. share with us your ideas. I love that. We talk also about divination, and we said, okay, shamanism has many more tools for divination, but tarot can be also used for divination, and in a very specific way. I did a reading once about with one client, and she was having her kid or birth within like a month or so, and with divination, in divination way, tarot gave a specific reading even of what she doesn't need to eat, when she needs to be careful about some allergies and all this stuff. Very, very specific. So tarot for divination, yes, but at the same time, it depends on the user, or it depends on the collaborator with tarot. It is like shamanism. Some practitioners in shamanism will use this practice to defend their tribe or their community and harm another tribe. Same thing for tarot. It depends on your intentions. And about community, we said that in shamanism we can gather with a community and we do not have that competitivity. But in tarot also, especially these last years, the community have been growing up, and we have been exchanging our practices, meeting amazing people, seeing a way that I have met through his channel, Lady Knight of Avalon, also through her channel. Madge, she, I don't know if you are she or he, but amazing insights especially during the last weekend, and I met you. So community is not really just related to shamanism. We can also build the community in tarot, and tarot is giving us this place to explore creative ideas, to discover ourselves inside, to discover you, discover the other members, and to build maybe another type of community that are gathered, even if they have differences in their practice, differences of thoughts, of appearance, of origins. We gather around the same passion. So in this way, tarot is showing us maybe a way of living together. Because when we see the story of tarot, I don't believe that tarot belongs to a country. It doesn't belong to France. It doesn't belong to Italy. For me, tarot belongs to the world, because it is coming from so many places in the world, and seeing now its effect on us, on discovering who we are truly, on learning how to live with ourselves before, learning how to live with others, teaching us about so many mysteries, talking about Egyptian mysteries, talking about Kabbalah mysteries, talking about even our own mysteries, our soul mission, how we came to this earth, the astrology. So tarot is not really closed. It is a position, or it is, I would say, a spirit ally that gathered all of us around something, around art, maybe around the love of cards, but we are gathering around it. All right, so Tarot is becoming a spirit ally that is teaching us to live together. Are you all right for now? Will you vote for shamanism or will you vote for tarot? What is your preference after this talk? Madge is giving his his CV. Nice to meet you, Danny. All right, so you are a he. Jennifer, I agree that stereotypical, more surface level uses of tarot can contribute to more of a competitive atmosphere, right? Among various readers, all wanting to sell their readings, and sometimes also what I have noticed, which is really strange, um, trying to shine because we maybe lack confidence a bit on us, or trying to shine and stealing some ideas from others. I have noticed that, but I believe that it is the first stages, because the more we delve into the mysteries of tarot, the more we learn about the cosmic laws. I feel I have created an oracle about cosmic laws, so tarot have been teaching me about that too. um, yeah, Lady Night, she said, I love our spiritual community and that we can learn so much each other. Jennifer, but there is a rich community growing up exactly around an intersectional kind of tarot that looks to break down those old ways and build more of a community. Totally agree. So Jennifer is voting for both. Evelyn is voting for both. And Lady Night, she's still on tarot. She knows it better, but she would like to know more about shamans. All right, so now that we have brought these two like enemies, what if we bring them all together as friends to collaborate? We are talking about collaboration. So what if we bring tarot and shamanism together, and I'm feeling like something working in me, like in my energy, this desire to I feel like shamanism, a spirit ally talking now, and tarot, they want to help us as humans in our physical journey. And it is interesting to know that in tarot, we find the four elements. We're talking about water, we're talking about fire, air, and earth. At the same time, these four elements are honored in the shamanic practice. So there is like ground, there is a similar ground here. There's the similar desire to help us bring or build a physical temple. Talking about that, I'm feeling like really something happening here on me. Building a physical temple that can help us channel this light we are in this planet, to be healthy, to take this, to bring that harmony or keep that harmony between our body, spirit, and our emotions, our physical body, our spirituality, and our mind also. The creativity is something really we find in both, tarot and shamanism. When you do shamanic journeys, sky is the limit. You do not limit yourself to any type of journey. You can ask whatever you want to spirit allies. They can choose to answer you or not. Similar to tarot. Tarot, you can ask whatever questions you want. You can ask the tarot that if you should I go to this meeting today? Should I eat this today? I ask in my own practice, and we do that in the Facebook group, Study Your Tarot Deck in 21 Days. I bring students to ask their tarot decks any question that can come in their daily life. What color should I take? Whatever question can come to your mind. Talking about creativity too. And seeing the shamanic craft, or witchy craft, I don't know how to call that, but we can create so many beautiful things. I have my drums that can be created and painted in different ways. Tarot decks and oracle decks are an expression of human spirit creativity. So both are really creative and they can work together. There is also the healing that these two practices bring to us in different levels. Just today, I this week have been really busy for me on doing a lot of sessions. And today, this morning, the session of this morning, I just showed the card. I showed the card to my client, and already something happened, and we took a journey from this card. We started a journey together, and it brought so much healing for her, so many teachings, and it was beautiful to see that. It is always beautiful when clients open up to tarot, and shamanic practice, and we can work with these two together. Magic happens. The other thing that can happen too, and we use tarot also for therapy, and we talk about art therapy also, because seeing colors, craft is a way of healing too. And something else that I would say is similar too between tarot and shamanism, and it is related to us, talking about confidence, talking about faith in the guidance we receive. If you have faith, you will recognize the guidance you get in shamanic practice and in tarot, and you will do something with it. If you do not have any faith, whatever the way you get the guidance, you will have difficulty to believe in it and to make an action through it. So confidence is really a key point in these true practices. Let me see your comments and your questions before I go further. Hi, Sidorki. Nice to meet you. Welcome to this talk. All right, Wei is talking about the elements. It's really important. It's really interesting with elements. They tie us all together. Tarot, shamanism, scent practice. Totally agree with that. Elements and element magic, I have been always interested by that. It's something really I want to explore more through shamanic practice and tarot together. And by the way, I have been I have been having my school since 2016, teaching online all these things. And in English, I started the last year. So we have been doing some shamanic journeys and work with tarot and shamanic journeys, both together. We have been exploring the Marial with shamanic journeys, a wonderful work. And the workshops are still there. So if you are interested to attend, because they are intemporal, we did work with trees, connecting with trees through shamanic journeys and through cards. And we just finished a program also connected with cats through cards and through shamanic journeys. Working with these two together is wonderful too. Maj is talking about readings for others. He doesn't do them because he has to first meditate himself into a woo state. I love this expression, to get the cards to work. Interesting. Some people have a gift always at hand and others have to reach inwards, and that is totally okay. Even in shamanic journeys too, some will take 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to journey to meet their spirit allies. For me, I consider that I do not really always need to travel. When I have the question, something just come, and yeah, it's not really necessary for me to travel to the upper world, downward. It's sometimes just it comes to us. So it depends really on, and this is something beautiful even in tarot and shamanism. Everyone lives the experience according to his own states of consciousness, to his own ways of being, and that is totally okay. There is no something is better than the other. And when we use the word advanced, intermediate, it's just a definition of where you are in your own practice regarding yourself. There is no one who will come and say you are intermediate, you are advanced, or it depends really on your own way of learning and where you consider that you are all right or you need to learn more or not. And to be honest, I consider myself always as a beginner, because if I consider myself as advanced, even if, we learn a lot and depends on our years of practice, and sometimes if you practice a lot during one day, it helps too. But if we stay open, many more things can come, and your spirit allies will bring you more information because you have that humility. You are humble. And that, by the way, that meaning advanced and beginner are really definition that came from the Western way of doing, and I question this type of doing. I don't think it's really constructive. Um, all right, so Jennifer, she's in the Facebook group. That's wonderful. We are studying fairies and CD and many more this week, this month. And it is one member, Sagar. She has created the challenge for this month, and I love it when people members participate and create their own challenges. It's it brings richness. It brings more things to look at too. Bye-bye, Evelyn. Much love to you. All right, so coming back to collaboration. We talked about what are the similarities, some similarities between tarot and shamanism. I want to end up this discussion by showing you some collaborations that have been concrete and that we can see in the physical space. Let me start with okay, one type of collaboration. Isis Oracle. Isis is one of my spirit allies, and I love connecting with her through this Oracle deck. She doesn't look like for this Oracle deck for me in shamanic journeys, but I like to connect with her because this deck, even the word Isis, and by the way, my name is Ouassima Isra. I consider that she has been always present in my name. Just having this name, the vibration of this name is something for me. It makes me straight in connection with her. So this can be a type of collaboration to have a spirit ally. And if you don't have time to journey all the time, you can connect with your spirit ally through the deck. For example, for Isis. Another example, if you have spirit allies, birds like I don't know, like condor, eagle, whatever bird you have as spirit ally, you can use these specific decks to connect with with that energy. You can, for example, choose a card. For example, I'm having this card here that I'm displaying as a way to honor my spirit allies and to connect with them. Let me see if there is another. Oh, this one. Oh, this oracle. I love it. It's what's its name? Messenger cards. Oop, here we go. The messenger cards is a lovely deck that was created by a Canadian one. So if she is passing from here, I was like, hi, thank you for this creation. And it is very shamanic. I use it for shamanic circles, and it is a wonderful way to connect with the Raven energy, but also with other spirit allies. So some decks will give you directly that vibration to connect with these spirit allies. And also, we were talking about oracles, but there are also tarot decks that give the vocabulary to your spirit allies to talk with you. And talking about that, there is the Vision Quest. That is a beautiful collaboration between tarot and shamanism. This deck is something. This deck is, I mean, if you do not have it and you are interested by shamanism, I feel this would be really interesting to have in your area. Not saying a collection, but very, very beautiful deck to use, for example, to cast a circle, to use, for example, in ceremonies, to place some energies. I do vibrational healing spreads and readings, and this deck. I mean, I need to buy a backup copy. Even if I really take care of my decks, I like mixing them and all this stuff, but I take care of my decks. And this can be really interesting to use in both practices. And talking about that, giving you a tip before I leave, seeing the time. When you do these two practices together, shamanic journeys and tarot, you can start from practice and you go to the other. I give you the example of the spread I did this morning with one of my clients, and we started with the card, and then we moved on to a journey. We can do the other way. We can do a journey, and then we come back and make a spread regarding this journey. You can also, I don't want to give you a lot of things, to do, but there are so many ways, and I talk about that in some workshops because it needs really to be practiced to understand what I mean. Sometimes you can focus on an object. For example, you can focus on this how do you call it in English? In lance, in French, you can give me the word, but you can focus on this as a way to maybe manifest what you need, maybe to show your power in a competitive environment, maybe to thank you, maybe to call in your spirit ally in a battle, because in this lifetime sometimes we have battles. You can deal with a bank, and you can deal with some issues, for example, in a bank or in a shop or wherever. And sometimes you need really to stand your point, to say what you need to say. So carrying this card in your pocket or in the things you have during the day can bring this energy with you and give you the strength to go to deal with this situation. This is one way. There are many other ways. All right. Are you all right till now? Do you want to see other decks and how to collaborate between these two? Of course, Jennifer is talking about the Full Arcos Tarot that is here. And wonderful, Jennifer. She bought it after she saw the video. The Full Arcos Tarot, and this is a wonderful deck. Also very good in shamanic journeys. You can, for this deck, it would be really wonderful to start with an element and go on a journey. And anyway, we will be doing some spreads in the workshop. There are just 4 spots left on the workshop by Carmen in January, because it will be limited. She will be dealing with, she will be helping us individually. So the numbers for the workshop will be really limited, and we got some subscriptions, and I really thank you for that. She's really happy about this adventure, but there are just 4 left. Jennifer, she's saying more decks. So the Full Arcos Tarot can be really interesting, and I find it really good collaboration between this work of spirit guides, spirit allies, and bringing creation into the physical realm. There are so many decks. I'm just looking at the time. I don't know if I have, if I can do all that. All right, let me show you this deck. This is the deck I have been using today for my sessions, for my healing sessions. And it is the Sedhi Tarot. This is the first time I really use it for sessions, for healing sessions. And usually I bring the deck directly. I do not take time to meet with him properly, because I want to know what is his true nature in sessions. And this deck is really lovely to make some journeys, especially with this Siddhi realm. And it's talking, it has been talking to me about connecting to our true nature, connecting to this part of us that is fairy, Siddhi, whatever you can call it. So this one is really beautiful for this type of work. And to be honest, I have been thinking about something. Let me know what you might think about it, because I want to show, bye anyway. I want to show this type of work. I want to share with you all these things we can do with Shamanism and Tarot. But I need also to tell you that there are some things that I can share here in live videos and YouTube, but there are other things that are really need a circle with spirit allies to be shared and to be experienced. And in order to do that, we would need something separate, for example, workshop or something like that. I have been doing that, and I want to go on from this side. So let me know if you are interested by this. I'll continue, of course, to share things with you, but just to let you know that there are things that we can talk about like this, and there are other mysteries we cannot talk about, but we can experience them. And this is really important to say regarding shamanism and tarot together. All right, the other deck that I have brought tarot, and I have brought oracles, just to show you some that can be used in this field. Messenger oracle, also another beautiful one that can be worked with to connect with spirit allies. and to give them the way to talk with us. All the decks are good to talk with our spirit allies, and these I'm showing you mine, you know. This one I have been not quite sure about it, and I decided to keep it. First, it is interesting to learn about some principles of shamanism using this deck, because you might, you know, you find the drum, what it means, you know, there are spirit allies. You can find the directions, different directions. You can find the some, you know, some principles, middle word. We have been talking about the non-ordinary, the ordinary reality, the moon, all these things. So I feel it is really interesting for someone who wants to start to know more about the shamanic practice, and, you know, and some elements of the shamanic practice. But this, you know, I've been keeping it, and I would be thinking about how to use it, because till now I didn't find the best way to, you know, integrate it. Maybe it has not been speaking to me that much. Another one, Earth Magic, another oracle also that is wonderful to be used in shamanic circles, and as a way to, you know, integrate oracle decks or cards, cartomancy, and shamanism. Another one, of course, I need to talk about the Marial, the Marial, my love of all the times. We have studied it the last year by December, and this year would be 1 year since we started the Marial in profound way, and still learning with this deck. Shamanic. This deck for me is really shamanic because I can journey with it, and it's vast. It brings so many possibilities. I mean, this deck, I have been doing it with it so much, so much, that I need to talk about it like for a week every day because there are so much to talk about this in this deck, and I will keep that for another video just to make sure. Another last deck, I wanted to open it with you because there are so many other decks, you know, we can learn about, and I need a scissor. Where are scissors? Okay, I do not have scissors here, so let me open this one here like this. I have been waiting to open it because I have felt that it would be really interesting to work with it for my shamanic practice and journeying. And this is, put that here. So this is the 78 Tarot Mythical, because depending on what you connect with on your shamanic practice, you might connect with mythical creatures, with animal allies. You can choose tarot decks that are based on animal allies. For me, there are also mythical beings. So as I talked about displaying the card just here, but also making a spread around, and this is another thing that you can do, making spread around this spirit ally or around the message while you are in trance. So you journey, and at the same time you come back with that state of trance or non-ordinary reality. You bring that state and you do spread with it, and this is really wonderful. But you need to you need to be a practitioner. Means like you have done some journeys, you know, and it's easy for you, so you can do this type of work. So this is the first time I opened this deck, and I thought that I needed to open it today with you because it can be really interesting. And I'm looking at it and I see what I can do with it. For example, you can travel through the cards, and you can travel through the doors in the cards. You can go to these places in shamanic journey. So many things you can do with it. Anyway, I will continue exploring it for later. All right, bringing this to a close, friends. Did you like our video for today? Let me know if you have other questions. Maj is talking about if you make a change to a spread you don't like, a journey would be a good way to go and ask of the change to manifest. Wonderful journey. This will be really interesting to do. All right. Let me see if there are questions. Yeah, the tarot, the mystical tarot is really beautiful. It's really lovely, and I'm happy that I opened it with you today. Yeah, it's beautiful, and it has many different arts, inside. Okay, no questions. So thank you very much for being here today. I hope you like this talk together between shamanism and tarot. Let me know if you have other questions. I already saw 2 or 3 that can be really subject to a video. Jennifer has a question. Go ahead before we leave. You have 1 minute. And I have other decks that I wanted to show you, but it will be next time. Jennifer is asking the difference in journeying for yourself versus for a circle. To be honest, it's really depending on what is the object of the journey. Sometimes when you journey for the circle and you are included in that circle, it would be a message for you and for them. For me, from my own practice, it depends on the object or the question you will ask for the journey. Then sometimes some people will find it difficult to journey for themselves, like reading tarot for ourselves too. Sometimes people will find it difficult, from what I've seen, and they will have less faith or confidence in what they see, versus when they journey for a circle and they share this journey or this experience, and they get the oh yes, this is true, oh this speaks to me, and all these things, this strengthen their confidence in themselves. This is something I noticed, but maybe there is something else I can see. I can look into that. Maj is going to see charm. Thank you everyone for this talk, and I will see you soon for another talk. Bye bye.